Okay, so it is March 16th, and tomorrow at 4 a.m., we're heading to the airport. So, in the midst of coronavirus infiltrating the world, we're going to Tijuana, Mexico to get some therapy for acute leukemia.
It's not the kind of vacation I'd imagine I'd be taking,
Right.
especially at a time like this.
Well, there's only about 50 people or so on the flight. So we got an hour layover in San Francisco and then off to San Diego. So far, so good. Sun's rising in the Bay Area. So we have technical issues. We've been waiting an hour now. Crystal's made herself a bed. One of the perks when we have an empty plane.
We made it to Tijuana. It's just a short drive from the airport. Cross over the border and pretty quick to get in, drive through. We have a really nice driver. His name is Uriel. And so he and Jeremy went into the office there to get our permits, visitor permits that we have to have coming into the country. And it's there's a fee for it, small fee, I think $25 or something. And it's good for 6 months. So should I come back in 3 months' time for my checkup visit, my visa will still be good and I won't need to get another.
And I go through here every day, so I see people climbing over it like nothing.
Hi, honey.
We just got here and we got vegan cashew, I don't know what you call these.
So these are quesadillas,
Quesadillas, yeah.
and it's all like vegan cheese.
Gluten-free, right? Dairy-free. And has the food been really good so far?
Delicious.
Yeah.
This is one of my favorite meals so far.
Yeah. That's stevia.
Stevia. Did you put some?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not too sweet, which is good. Okay, so they just put in a port.
Can't see his bandage up.
So that's so you can do vitamin C today and the next day and so on. Because your veins in your arms don't work as well as the port would. So I guess they're going to take that off today.
Yeah,
The other one on your arm.
yeah.
Did it hurt?
The lidocaine hurt when they injected the
Oh, they
vein
had to
with
give
it.
you a shot.
Yeah,
Okay.
that hurt, but it didn't last very long. And then everything got numb.
Still numb?
Yeah. It was weird, the lidocaine, once it took effect, it happened really quick. Then my hearing went dull on this side.
Weird.
And the iron in your blood is normal, and the leukocytes are 155,000. Okay, it's extremely high, but it's a normal finding in leukemia.
Okay.
And well,
And that was called the leukocytes?
155,000.
The leukocytes.
That's the white blood cell count.
But
That's the white blood cells.
Leukocytes are white blood cells.
So
It
there's
had
one,
gone up to 187.
and now
Yeah.
it's down to 155.
155. Okay, and that the hemoglobin is 11.1. Okay, it's must be above 30. But about 13, sorry. But because of your disease, I think that it's not a bad number. You do not require iron supplementation. You do not require a transfusion. It's just if we treat the disease, the chronic inflammatory disease that it's cancer, it's supposed to get better by itself without any treatment. Okay.
Okay.
Platelets are increasing 796. Okay.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, it's pretty high. So
What was the normal?
That's
It's
the
be-
highest it's been.
yeah, and it could be because of the inflammatory state, and it needs to be below 400. Okay. Have you used or any blood thinner?
No, I have not.
You have not.
So the platelets is what's making the blood thicker?
Yeah,
Okay.
and also the white blood cells.
And that's why she's getting headaches and
Yeah.
lack of energy,
Mhm.
because the oxygen doesn't flow as easily
Yeah.
through her body because the platelets are too high.
Mhm.
Okay.
And also, let's say that, as you say, makes thicker the blood, causes everything to go harder in the
Right.
flow of
Makes the body work
Mhm.
harder. Yeah.
because everything besides the red blood cells, everything is increased. White blood cells and platelets. Just the hemoglobin is the only thing that it's normal, but it's slightly below the normal limits.
So I guess the idea is if once blasts begin in leukemia, it means it's become acute leukemia rather than chronic.
Mm-hmm.
So is that blood test telling us whether she's acute or not?
Right now, I don't have enough information with this if
Oh.
it's an acute leukemia or
Okay.
not.
Okay.
Something important I would like to point out in here is that these therapies do work, but let's say that it's not a extremely fast result. Okay, so the fastest treatment for leukemia it's the cytotoxics with what we know of the side effects that they have. Okay.
Right. So we're avoiding those side effects.
I'm trying to tell you is that these treatments do have good effects, but they take longer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that I'm gonna do my first therapy. Well, not really. This is my second. It's called Indiba, and I really don't know much about it, so I'll tell you about it later after I get it done.
This first one, that it's the local hyperthermia,
Yeah.
it's gonna raise the temperature. And then this second one, it's a different frequency, but this one targets the receptors in the cancer cell's membrane to break them apart.
I see.
So it's, I guess it's like this one creates the hostile environment, and then this one tries to break apart the cancer cells.
I see. I see. Okay, this is called full body sauna, right? Well, what would you call this?
Hyperthermia. Hyperthermia means, to bring body temperature higher, because cancer cells like a cold body, and my body temperature has been consistently cold. So when we heat it up, cancer cells don't like it,
Why do they have you breathing oxygen?
because the more oxygen, the better. Cancer cells don't like oxygen either. They like to live in an anaerobic environment.
Since Crystal's getting her 3-hour IBC treatment, we're watching a movie called Private Life.
It has a lot of cussing.
It's got a lot of cussing
And unstable people.
and unstable characters.
It's like the real world. It's a reality movie.
Yeah.
So we met with Oscar recently, the nutritionist. How come he said we're not supposed to have green juices or any leafy greens?
He said that because of the leukemia, my blood is so thick
Yeah.
that really I need like blood thinners. And there's like garlic is a really good blood thinner. Grapefruit is naturally a blood thinner. There's lots of foods that are good, but there's some foods that help the blood to clot more, which
And-
would be like vitamin K,
Right.
and
And it's
that
fu-
could be good.
And it's fine for people who are healthy. It's not like not like a lot of clotting. It's just a subtle clotting.
But for somebody like with a condition like mine, we don't want anything that's gonna promote that.
So no leafy greens, and surprisingly, we're eating fish every day.
I had to eat fish every day right now for a while. So the fish will help to build my muscle back because of the omega-3s and the protein. And so I just need that extra boost. And because of my digestion was so bad that it was harder to get it from the plants. This is the oxygen chamber. I do this every morning for 1 hour. It's hyperbaric oxygen, basically pressurized oxygen. Also, I get fed oxygen through a tube. And basically that helps to really get oxygen into my cells. So I just stay here for an hour to do that.
And that will be the time, you know?
Right. Basically not feeling supported emotionally, however it is.
And this would be within the family. Okay?
The behavioral therapist doctor explained, that there's been lots of studies done, and every cancer patient 100% of the time can trace their specific cancer back to some kind of emotional conflict. And the type of cancer correlates directly with the type of conflict that the person has had in their life that set the stage for that cancer. So with leukemia, why leukemia? So in leukemia, they have found that the predominant conflict that overrides everything else is self-devaluation, feelings of worthlessness, and it has to do especially having to do within the family, the clan. It's kind of like our blood, because it's a blood cancer, and that has to do with familial relationships. Because we related to one another by our blood.
Right.
Okay. So in myeloid leukemia is the conflict of deep devaluation within oneself, and those devaluations can be real or imagined. So our psyche doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. So sometimes we think like scary thoughts or that fight or flight reaction. Our cells don't know the difference that something is not real, and the body reacts accordingly with the increased cortisol levels and that sort of thing.
Right.
So he sums it up like this. The leukemia conflict is a loss of a deep sense of who we are within our clan, and then the possibility to be introduced or in I can't read my writing, to be integrated to another clan to be protected. Because within families we find that's where we find our roots, that's where we find our like protection, and our safety net is our family. And so a person with leukemia, they lost that sense of protection and safety within the family unit. Maybe they lost it, or maybe they never had it. They never felt they had it.
So, got dropped off at the airport an hour and a half ago, and then Crystal calls with the news that the border is being severely restricted to emergencies only, and that there's a possibility where they will stop the border completely, no more crossing. And right now, California is complete lockdown. They don't want people even leaving their houses. So Crystal's aunt, Helen, was supposed to come and be with Crystal while I was gone. And we decided at the airport just now that I would just go back to Tijuana.
I guess you'd call it a fiber optics needle.
Yes. So we're gonna do 2 red, green, yellow, and the last one ultraviolet. Let's see what it looks like.
Aha.
You see?
The silver supposedly is not good for us. It has some mercury in it.
That's not the case. I have a root canal too, and basically it's not good to have anything dead in your mouth.
Oh, well, so you're not doing anything about the feeling?
Well, he's gonna do an assessment on my whole mouth.
Okay, well, we just left the clinic, and basically,
Can you hold this?
yeah, they told us unless it's an absolute emergency, right, that we shouldn't do anything to the mouth, because they says,
The risk of because of the coronavirus going on, right?
Right.
The risk is
Yeah.
higher.
yeah, and because if our immune system is compromised at all, that, and we go in and have dental work done, then it creates even more of a risk. So that was quick. We were in there about 10 minutes, and they said, I mean, at least it was good for them to be honest about it, rather than try to have us as customers. They said it's better just to wait.
Yeah, but they should have told us before that.
Yeah, right.
Oh, look. The ladybug.
There she is. This is the fanciest hotel. Right now you can stay there for $35 a night. They have a special because of the pandemic. And over there, that's where they're gonna have bullfighting on the 29th. A lot of unnecessary suffering. Yeah, maybe they're gonna end up canceling that actually.
Yeah, because that's
Did you find some toothpaste?
¿Cuánto cuestan 210? Incremental.
I have a generator or PMF.
And what does it do?
It's kind of like it sends pulses of electric into your body. Basically, it recharges your internal battery, because we're born with a battery life, you know, and as we age or if we get sick, our battery life gets shortened. So the PMF helps to recharge the battery, like your rechargeable batteries. You know?
And you're focusing that on your calf muscles right now?
Well, you can use it wherever you need it, like if you have pain in your back, if you're concentrating.
Yeah. Higher. Go all the way. Ah! Oh, you can feel it. It's like giving you, go higher.
Okay, so this is one of the treatments that I do every other day, and it's called UVBI, which stands for ultraviolet blood infusion. So what they do is they have a bag of saline and they take out blood from me through my port, like 3 big vials of blood, and they inject it into that bag. And then they also inject 2 big vials of ozone gas into that solution of blood and saline. So I like to call it fruit punch because that's sort of what it looks like. It's never, you're never going to look at fruit punch the same way after this.
Yeah, it does got that fruit punch quality.
Yep. And so as it runs down through my line, it goes into this machine in one end, and if you can see, there's a light that emanates from the machine, and that's the UV light. And it comes out the other end, and back into my port to infuse me with the good sterilized, because UV light sterilizes, And the ozone gas also helps to add oxygen, and also the extra molecule of ozone will help to also capture any pathogens in my blood. And so it's basically infusing me back with my own blood enriched. And it takes about an hour long to do. And hopefully I'll feel better after this.
So, just want to take a moment and talk about what happened a couple days ago. It's in the wee hours. Most people are sleeping here. So, Crystal was diagnosed with chronic leukemia, chronic myeloid leukemia, about 1.5 years ago. And it was difficult to accept that, and then also the fact that she didn't want to take conventional medicine, which is dasatinib, a pill. Most people who take that can live a normal life, with few side effects. In fact, a small percentage don't even have to take it after 3 years. It basically stops the cancer. Crystal has long held the idea that conventional medicine doesn't cure the problem. It stops the problem, suppresses the problem, but doesn't get to the root of the problem of why it happened in the first place. So that's been her stance all along. So I just had to accept that, and eventually just the best option was just to support her in that. So about a little over a month ago, when she was visiting Arizona, she had to go to the ER because she wasn't feeling right, and the doctor looked at her blood test and says, "You're in acute leukemia now." So from chronic to acute is huge, because once it's acute, it's very hard to treat, and the mortality rate can happen within weeks. So it was very scary, and that's why we opened up a GoFundMe page to get enough money to come here. So we got one more blood test in Eugene that was inconclusive, and one here, and they're not showing acute. There's a lot going on in the blood with chronic, so because Crystal's blood count is between 150,000 and it's been all the way up to 180,000, the computer can't always diagnose properly, so you have to have a doctor look under a microscope, which is what they did here, and he said he only found 1% of the white blood cells to be immature, meaning it's almost like she's on the border between chronic and acute, especially with her blood cell count being so high, white blood cell count. So it felt like, wow, okay, we have a second chance here. Yeah. So when I read in the book, Hope4Cancer, written by Dr. Jimenez, who has basically founded this clinic here and 2 others, when he stated that cancer, for the most part, when treated with chemotherapy, has a high mortality rate. That's why he set up this clinic to find the root cause of cancer and go from there, which combines a lot of alternative therapies. However, he states on page 86, there are exceptions, and when you have chronic leukemia and your white blood cell count is above 80,000, it's good to combine conventional medicine to bring those numbers down so that the alternative therapies can help. It was like, okay, wow, there's a really good direction there. And then every single doctor here also suggested to her it would be a good idea to combine the two. And 2 days ago, Crystal told me flat out that, no, I'm not taking conventional medicine. It's in God's hands, and we're going to use these alternative therapies and find the root cause. Basically, she believes, as does Ellen White, which is one of the founders of Seventh-day Adventism, that most diseases in our life are psychosomatic. So the point is that she is sticking with her decision to not take conventional medicine, and that's just the way it has to be at this point. So we're in the land of miracles. Yep. So, how do you feel about your progress?
I don't know. I feel good. I just hope that it's gonna be by the end of 3 weeks that it's enough to just really continue to like give me the upper hand as far as when I continue the treatment, the home treatment, if hopefully we get home. So,
Yeah, there's a question about, I think hopefully we'll get home. There's a question about, it might be difficult to get home.
yes, and we should talk about that a little bit because we're here in the midst of a pandemic. And this is something that, like, our generation has not ever experienced before. And so it's caused a lot of disruptions in everybody's lives. And for us, if we didn't know if we were going to get here, or we didn't know if we were going to, now we don't know if we're going to be able to go home. And if we are able to go home, we don't know if they're going to try to quarantine us in some way that...
That's the closest I've heard a helicopter. Oh, here we go. They're telling us to get off the beach now.
So today it feels really weird now because there's just police everywhere along this strip. Most of the restaurants and businesses are closed. It's like a ghost town where there's cars going up and down the street. And then we walk to the beach access and that's been roped off.
So, we just booked a flight to leave tomorrow, which would be 6 days early. Because the news shows that the American model, in consideration with the coronavirus, is similar to Italy's. So, we decided that it's best to get a flight and get home, where basically we can quarantine.
Okay. Then it's ready for use. Just press here, the on and off button.
And it starts.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. Important. When you put in your first, you put this part to here. Okay.
You know, like you come here, you spend a lot of money, and some people have different mindset. Like they think coming out here it's gonna do like miracles and it's gonna make it go away.
Yeah, like a silver bullet. Like just.
So it doesn't work that way.
No.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. I knew already. I can never change back. Certain things I'll never be able to do. But I've been on this path for a long time, and so it's been really valuable for me to be here, because my problem is that I wasn't disciplined to do my treatments.
That's for everyone.
Yeah. But I was doing what I could do, but I would get distracted, and so I see how important it is to be consistent with my program.
To do things right.
While the employees here are talking about what they're going to do about the cutbacks that are taking place.
They're getting the talk right now. It's sad because they were all like, you could see the fearfulness on their faces already, even before this. So this is a writing from Sister Ellen G. White, and she talks about avoiding pharmaceutical drugs or any kind of drugs, right? But then in these cases, she's talking particularly about the drugs that doctors prescribe. So from Ministry of Healing, a practice that is laying the foundation of a vast amount of disease and of even more serious evils is the free use of poisonous drugs. When attacked by disease, this thing? Oh yeah, it has the other lights on too.
Yeah, it's like you got a rainbow on your wrist.
Rainbows are healing.